Live from Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Brett Levelzik with your 7 News team at 11. Good morning, Boston. Our top story today is that a cat got stuck in a tree. What? Are you serious? We have breaking news. The war is over. World War I is over. The Great War. Let's go live to our on-site reporter, Brett Levelzik. Hi, Brett. Thank you, Brett. I'm here in Renthons, France, where the war has just ended. You can even hear the American citizens screaming.
USA! USA!
Today, on November 11th at 11 o'clock exactly, the armistice agreement has just been signed. Germany surrendered to the war, and this ended all battles in the war. I'm here in a trench that's over 6 feet tall. These trenches were the strategies for both the Central Powers and the Allies. Oh no, there's a straggler right there. Are you okay, son?
I'm fine, thank you.
Who are you?
I'm an American soldier. What just happened?
The war has just ended.
It has?
Yeah, Germany was forced to surrender in the armistice agreement.
Thank God. Billy, Joey, the war's over!
So now, can you tell me more about these trenches that you're living in?
Yeah, we were stuck in these trenches for quite a while. I mean, they were, very hard to live in with the poisonous gases, the lack of food, and the struggle that we went through each day in and day out, to try to survive in these trenches. Only a few feet wide and 6 feet tall. They protected us for the most part, but it was really tough.
How did you feel when all of your soldiers, all your friends, were dying right before your feet?
Well, it was really tough to see them die, I've missed them dearly, but, you got to move on, try to survive yourself.
How slow was this war?
It took quite a while. I mean, I feel like I've been out here for years. How long has it been?
It's been over a year. Can you tell us why it was so slow?
It was slow. We couldn't really move forward, try to attack the other trenches. Tanks were the ones to come in. The poisonous gases cleared most of us out, but it was a real struggle to try to move forward in this war.
Thank you very much. Let's leave this area. Here's the exit. Come on, you're free.
Let's get out of the trenches, man. Yo, Billy and Joey, come on, man.
You just saw a tragic but heroic encounter of American soldiers. They are now escaping toward their freedom back to the USA. Back to you, news team. Thank you, Brett. I would hate to live in one of those trenches. Let's go live to our next story in Germany with Johnny Glass.
Thank you, Brett. Now I'm here in Berlin, Germany, where the news has just swept the nation that the war is over. The victory for the Allies and the so-called neutral country, the United States. Hello? I don't know how the hell you survived here. Alright, to the left of me is an American soldier who's been bunkered down in Berlin, Germany. What's your name?
My name is William.
Do you have any family at home that you miss dearly?
Yes. My mom, dad, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, pretty much everyone.
Now, I heard a lot of families invested in Liberty bonds. How do you feel about Liberty bonds?
Well, my family unfortunately invested in them. It was a big thing to do when I was back in America. And they did it right about when I went to war because they thought that it was going to support me. But in reality, it's just supported the war and made it longer and longer and longer, which made me not be able to come home and put my family in a financial situation they shouldn't have been in.
Well, I'm sorry for your financial struggles now that the war is over, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Propaganda led a lot of American families to financial struggles after the war is finally over. The government made $21.3 billion off of these Liberty bonds from all the American families supporting the war, thanks to propaganda. Signing off, this is John Gillespie. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, John. It's now time for a commercial break. Welcome back. Now here's Jack with your latest sports update.
This is Jack with sports. I'm going to catch you up on all the sports you've missed because of all the news having to do with the war. Starting with baseball, The Red Sox defeated the Cubs 4-2. This is the Red Sox' second World Series in 5 years, and a member of this team was Babe Ruth, one of America's favorite players. He led the league with 11 home runs. If he keeps this up, he might be a Hall of Famer one day. Going to horse racing. Horse racing is continuing to become one of America's most popular sports. In the Kentucky Derby, the most important horse race, the Exterminator won, and in the Belmont Stakes, maybe the second most important, Joe Rand took that one. In hockey, which originated up in Canada, and is increasingly become one of America's favorite sports, especially along the lake, where teens go and play hockey with their friends. The Toronto Arenas of the NHL defeated the Vancouver Millionaires of the PCHL in the 1918 Stanley Cup 3-2. Now let's transition to football. Football is primarily played in the college level, not the pro level, because the pro level doesn't have very many people because of the war going on. But in college football, Michigan and Pittsburgh tied for the national championship, each going 8-0. And then in one of the most lopsided games in college football history, Georgia Tech beat North Carolina State 122-0. Some major events that were canceled because of the war include the Tour de France, which is an annual biking race in the mountains of France, the Wimbledon, which is a tennis match in England, the U.S. Open, which is another tennis match in the United States, and also the Masters, a golf tournament annually held at Augusta National. That's it with sports. Back to the team in the studio. We have breaking news to the studio. We have President Wilson's interview live here in Washington, D.C. Let's get that right now.
On this day, the 11th of November, I'm officially calling for the retrieval of all American troops. As a nation, America endured one of the most tragic wars seen in history. When hundreds of thousands of soldiers were lost, all true American heroes. I never intended for America to enter the war. I knew that it was the most bloodiest war, but it was the war to end all wars. Sending our great, peaceful country into war was one of the most fearful actions I've done during my presidency. It was Germany's fault, however. When they threatened us by sinking the Lusitania, when they sent the Zimmerman note encouraging Mexico to attack us for our territory, when they chose to fight against our allies, we chose to fight back. In the 14 points I addressed earlier in this year, I explained the most sensible laws every country should follow. Along with explaining the reason for American neutrality, I expressed the main point. The world needs to be safe for democracy. Germany has a reckless lack of compassion for principle during the war. Germany invented new war technology to put soldiers through misery and certain death. Flamethrowers, poison gas, all these weapons should not be used in the war effort. I want to protect every neutral nation, large and small, so that the people can choose what way of life they want. We need to protect the democracy. America, now as a world power, needs to set an example for the world. Thank you. I'm President Wilson. God bless America. Wow, such powerful words by President Wilson. Now here's technology. Here's technology with John Gillespie.
Hello world, how the heck are you? I'm kidding, okay, right? Now here's John Gillespie with some more fun facts about the methods used in the war. World War I was one of the most bloodiest battles to date. Millions of people died due to the new technological advancements in the war. Such advancements include trench warfare, machine guns, and even flamethrowers. Sounds quite scary. In Europe, a lot of larger countries such as Germany, France, had all these new technological advancements, making them more powerful to these smaller countries. As a result of this, many casualties were the outcome of these new advancements. The first advancement in the war were the involvement of tanks. Tanks were used to trample over the trenches used by basically every country. The first tank invented in 1915 was the British Mark I, and it first saw combat in 1916. A second advancement in the war was the use of flamethrowers. First used by the Germans in 1915, flamethrowers were used to burn enemy soldiers alive without inflicting any structural damage to the trenches. A third advancement in the war was the use of poisonous gas. Poisonous gases led to the invention of the gas mask. When poisonous gas was tossed into the trenches, many soldiers fled, leading the war to a standstill. A fourth advancement in the war was the use of the airplane. Airplanes were quickly improving throughout the war, and were also being used to house machine guns used to fire enemy lines from above. That ends our newscast for today. I'm John Gillespie. Back to Brett in the studio.
Signing off, this is Brett Olabozic
This is Jack Gallagher.
and John Gillespie. And
Stay classy, Boston!